Pardon? You know, the Bible talks about sheep a lot. Now, it does. It doesn't talk about them a lot. Basically, it's most of those who ain't in charge, and then most of them that ain't. If you're pure good, you have no clue as to what evil is thinking. If you're pure evil, you can see that they're, according to you, idiots, just waiting to be fleeced or sucked off of vampires. Considering where we came from, you know, I'm allowed to do this because almost nobody watches as far as YouTube shows me, but, you know, I do this because it makes me happy. Not much does nowadays. You know, I lost my youth. You know, very few people get to enjoy their youth. Percentage-wise. Yeah. I gotta definitely applaud YouTube because their job as part of the whole, as it is now, is to enable you to keep going in the web. I made it here, wherever that is. I'll put my hand up here. I made it here. The web goes everywhere. So they got things, you know, you might want to see. I'm very unique, but they have been finding a lot more recently that really impresses me. Yeah. Most of them are speakers. Well, no. You're taking up my camera space here, buddy. And most of them do what I do, except they're not all by themselves, thank God. I do what I feel, you know? And I actually type that I'm very grateful that others are also being very wary. You know, one of the guys at work used to be a cop. He's only 40, but nonetheless, whatever. Yeah, I talked about a couple of things that I watched yesterday and read yesterday, and he came back with the same stuff close by. The earth is a body, and it seems to be perpetually diseased. Ouch, goddamn itches. Not everybody knows they're doing it. A lot of times, they're just being told this is how it should be. And anybody knows me, I'm always open. Well, I used to be. Now I don't trust anybody. Yeah, it's tough to do everything by yourself. And my companion expects me to do everything for her, too, which makes it even more difficult. But she does have an income. She's on disability, and with the way they're pricing the necessities, there ain't nothing left. And you wonder why the economy is crashing, because people can't afford to buy anything anymore. We were using credit to buy, and now the credit's gone, and those who still can try and pay it off ain't got no money either. And, you're wondering why the body is dying. It's been parasited to the point of almost falling over. Yeah. The guy that followed the Sword of Knowledge and Truth on YouTube explained that, but again, and they say evolution didn't happen yet. This group of people who were parasiting off of other people had Christians coming down from one end and Muslims coming down from another, and they had to have some sort of defense. Say, oh, we're Jews. No, they weren't. Historically, the dudes seemed to know what he was talking about. They didn't like either one of those. They liked being what they were, and the only defense was say we're Jews. Both religions will respect that. Not everybody says they're a Jew is a Jew. Not every Christian that says he is his or her. Anybody can put on whatever it is and play and act as it is to get away with whatever they're doing. I mentioned, again, to me, I want to get to a small village, and I don't even know what's going to come, but I know that I don't trust much. I don't want anybody with the ability to take my home, so I'm probably going to be giving up this huge house. I had a lot of conversations with myself, thoughts. I like having that space. The only reason I need all this space is so when she's throwing fits, I can find a place to run. If I got land, I could get a very old camper and park it out back. She could sit in the house and do whatever hell she wants to do. Blow the place up. I don't want to hear it, and I'm at least 30 feet away. I don't even have that much land right now. I got a big house, all vertical. Land, nah. Sometimes, and she doesn't even see it because this is just who she is. She picks until I just can't stand it and I blow the fuck up. And she says I do it to her, and I don't. But that's because she sees through her own lenses. She does it, so she expects somebody to do it to her. I don't do that. I don't pick at anybody. In fact, I try and stay isolated in peace, because a lot of you all just... Anybody watching this probably isn't that way. But around you, there's a lot of those that just need to pick. And those who are trying to treat you like lab animals know this. And yeah. This one that I'm thinking about, the video that followed or was paired to the video I just did yesterday. for now, it's kind of an underground news organization, and he's the front man, he's the speaker, but there's a lot of others that are helping him to pull all this stuff together to what's really going on. And you know, I done talked about, you know, you have to figure out a way to stop making babies when you ain't ready to take care of them. There's nothing wrong with that statement. How evidently they're working on it is different. To save myself from more grief than I need, I'm sure they could find me if they really wanted to. I'm not even going to mention the name of somebody that was mentioned that I really heard is not a nice group of people. But money pretty much gives you a lot of privileges, depending on how you utilize it. I do know there's plenty of rich and extremely rich that would actually dig me. But there's, just as always, equal and opposite, there's just as many who would rather shut me up. Even though I ain't even being heard yet. Someday I will. Oh, man. Personal life. I did do a little bit of painting because I can't just hang out with my imaginary friends. You know, I do need to get out of the city. I mean, I need to come here because they're trying to eat me where I was at. Now I'm feeling there's an opportunity to get to a quiet place. The city, whatever city, is never quiet. And considering, like I said, smoking, she quit. More power to her. I still got to do that again for the third time. I was a non-smoker when I met her, and then picked up the habit again. But it's really gross, yellow, condensation dripping. I wouldn't buy it. Not for... Well, yeah, I did. I would have bought it anyhow. It was a significant savings. They were charging me $600 a month rent, and if I couldn't pay it, get the fuck out. And when I managed to get the mortgage, it was $300. Shit, what a deal, right? They don't pay they don't pay you much to work anymore. They get paid a lot more to watch. If you want their position, watch out, man. They'll make sure you can't get it because, hey, that's a privileged place. We own it. You don't. Don't try it. Japan did that, actually. The Emperor of Japan's ancestors figured out that this is how those got taken out. I will make sure that never happened to us. That's actually more advanced than most of the planet, but it's still not acceptable because they never grow that way. In Russia, Vladimir Putin, I don't dislike him. You know, the news was, and I don't want him to want me dead either, by the way, but I have no reason to dislike him yet. But he's figured out a way to make a tandem with another guy that he likes, and they both have power, and it's kind of like what our politicians are doing, padding the place to make sure that they stay there, or those that they like, or they get something out of it. But everything comes from masses, really. The election system said he can't have consecutive terms as president of Russia beyond 2. So he made a pact, a bond, a deal with somebody that he had ideological understanding with, that I'll get you elected, and then after your term, then I can be reelected, and I'll put you as prime minister, because he made sure he got to be prime minister. Staying in charge as long as you possibly can. It's always been the human thing. America never did that. Actually, Roosevelt served 3 terms in the Second World. Yeah, it was the Second World War. But after that, it's always 2. It wouldn't surprise me if America tried to follow that deal too, because politicians are really stacking their decks, according to what I'm seeing in the news. I mean, if you had a Goa'uld in your head trying to make sure that it lived even if you died, yeah, that's it. But bottom line, this planet ain't gonna be here forever. Daddy knows this, so do I. And our lives are even quicker than that, much faster. And if you are, there's so much crap. But we're working on it, you know.